Hang on a second. It's Saturday. Why am I bringing out a video on a Saturday? Well, you're about to find out. I thought we'd start this video with a little bit of a walk around the workshop, a little bit of a tour, and an update on everything, because I've got a pretty good excuse why I've been fairly slow at finishing all of the projects that I'm surrounded with in here. Okay, let's clear this up first of all. Ranelagh 1 and 2, they're both new, up the back there. That is the original one that belonged to Anthony. One confession, yes, I cheated. I know the whole point of me restoring this engine crane is so that I can pick up the Ranelaghs and tip them on their back like I've done there. I cheated. Next door, we're moving a load of stuff in and out on a forklift, and I was just like, oh man, come on. It would be too easy. How could I not take up that opportunity? So I cheated, I'm sorry. I filmed it just in case. So here's that clip, first of all, of the Ranelagh as evidence. That will be the only time I do it, because tomorrow we're going to finish that crane. It's going to be done. I've spent a fortune on parts. I've got the hydraulics with Glenn at the hydraulic shop being repaired and rebuilt. I'm hopeful that in tomorrow's video, we're going to see the end of that restoration and it'll be done. Finished. The Porsche. The Porsche. The thing I'm most desperate to get started on and get working on. But it's time and money with that one. It's expensive and parts are expensive and I don't have the time, and I'm really reluctant to just tear into it and cut chunks off and rush into it to make a video when I'm not quite ready to do that yet, because I just want to spend a little bit more time making jigs and brackets and bits and bobs to make sure. I just don't want to rush it. And my excuse that you're about to find out is one of the main reasons why I've not been able to kind of get my mind in to the Porsche. The BSA, it's an A10 pre-unit, quite a rare bike. I've just got the logbook for that recently now. I've been fighting with the DVLA for a long time. I've finally got it, it's done. So that restoration can start soon, but not until we spend some time on the Porsche. There's a few bits I'm sort of gathering here and there. I'm looking out for a single Bates seat. So actually, anyone out there that's got a single, like a solo Bates seat that would fit on that, usually they're fitted to Harleys, but I kind of want to have a go at trying to fit one on that. So anyone out there that's got one, let me know. I found that in a skip, believe it or not. I mean, it's pine. It's just a sort of horrible pine cabinet, but I painted it blue. I thought it looked nice. I might do some pinstriping and some lines and maybe colour some bits in, paint it a little bit, because I've sold the Bantam. You know that, my little old BSA, which has freed up this little area here, which is kind of becoming my Ranelagh restoration area at the front of the workshop. It makes sense because it's right near the roller shutter, so I can get they're the heaviest things. I can get them in and out easier. This lovely cabinet I've got here is just full of paint at the moment that I don't really use anymore. It's a bit brown and miserable. I'm going to empty it, move all the paint out that's in there, move the cabinet up to the end, and that's going to become my kind of Ranelagh store, where all the little bespoke bits of tooling and jigs and taps and brackets and things that I've had to make, and parts. I've got now piles of cast parts from Chris, like the lower wheels, the cradles. I'm going to keep them all in that cabinet, locked away. They're not going to get wet. They'll all stay nice and dry. They won't get dirty and hopefully won't go too rusty. They're all going to be in that cabinet up the back. I actually sort of measured it all out recently, that cabinet, because I kind of fancy painting Ranelagh, the logo, on the front of it. This new blue horrible pine cabinet, I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not as nice as the metal one. That is going to go there in place of that, so all the bits of paint that are in there can go in the blue cabinet. Even just a simple move like that takes all day. Doing the artwork and painting the front of it is another day, and maybe another video. I'll film it. Let me know. If you want to see me painting that cabinet, let me know. I can definitely film it. It'd be quite satisfying actually painting that. It'd be quite nice. We're not talking about the coffee van. Yes, it's still here. No, I haven't done anything else to it. Again, because I've got this perfect excuse. I've not been able to say anything about this for over a year, so it's quite strange. This turned up today, which means I'm allowed to tell you what I've been working on, the best part of a year that I've been working on this. I've written a book. An actual proper book that has been published. It's really thick. There's a lot of words in there. This is what I've been working on. Hours and hours and hours of researching, phone calls, meetings. This has been a real team effort. I know it's got my name on the front, but I worked with a ghostwriter, Nathan. He did an amazing job of translating my rambling, random thoughts and pictures into something that you can actually understand. Lee, the illustrator, has created some beautiful illustrations. If you can't name all of the tools on the front cover, you need to buy the book so you can learn what those tools are, who would use them, where they were made, how they were made, when they were made, what they were made for, why they made them, how they feel to use. My life for the last 20, 30 years or so has revolved around tools. I use them every single day, literally 7 days a week. A day doesn't go by that I haven't got a screwdriver or something in my hand. Being at the repair shop for the last 5.5 years has introduced me to a huge amount of other craftspeople and talented sort of makers, and everybody comes down with their own tools. And I come down with my own tools, and you have my own tools here all the time, going to boot sales and fairs, trying to find old hammers, you know, old bits of all these dollies and bits of metal and things that I'm gathering. And I really like all of the obscure tools. Dean, the cobbler, comes down to the repair shop with some funny spiky looking wheel that he's warming up over a sort of burner. It's just like, Dean, what on earth are you doing with that? He's like, oh, this is the one around the edge of the shoe. It's like, of course it is. This should be in a book. So here it is. It's a proper hardback actual book. I really wanted this book to be educational for whoever's reading it. It's not a storybook that you have to read start to finish. It's not a sort of like my life story in a book by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a little glimpse into my life and my life at the repair shop and my life here in the workshop. Every single tool that I've got in the workshop has a story, whether it's that rainy Sunday morning when I was at 6 a.m. at a boot sale trying to find it, or whether John, when I was working at Carmen Connection, he had a lovely snap-on toolbox that's led me to get my little red snap-on toolbox, and that day that I found it. So all of these little stories are in this book. So it's not just a kind of nerdy book about tools. There's an awful lot of stories and tales and just funny quotes and funny bits that have happened at the repair shop. I wanted whoever's reading the book to be able to get something out of it. It's not just about me. And there's lots of little tips and tricks. You know, if you see a hammer like this at a boot sale and you read White House on it, it's like, White House. You'll know, like, I just want, and maybe there's a Stanley plane and it's got the little logo on it. It's like, that makes it a super rare plane. So all the little things like that, I've tried to put as many as possible in here. Nathan, the ghostwriter, is a historian, and he's loved going into detail, finding out the original makers of these different tools and who made them, and some amazing stories going back hundreds of years as to where these tools originated and how they've sort of developed and transitioned through the years. It's a fascinating history, some of these tools. That was my plan. Together, we can all save these beautiful old tools, educate yourselves with what these obscure old tools do, enjoy reading the tales about the interesting craftspeople that use them. Honestly, if you'd asked me even 5 years ago what I'd be doing with my life and where I'd be, I was a set designer, making props in my workshop in London, having a good time doing that. No idea at all I would end up on a TV show, biggest show on the BBC at the moment, with a successful YouTube channel, a big workshop like this, owning Ranelagh. So much has changed over the last few years. It's been an absolute whirlwind, and this book is no exception. Anyone that knows me would think, no way have you written a book. How? Like, you're the last person I would expect to write a book. I am really, really proud. I just hope that it is well received and goes down really well. Does that mean I'm an author? It's coming out in October. You can pre-order it now. There's a link on my Instagram, but most importantly, there's a link just below this video. If you're able to, show your appreciation for the channel and everything that we do, order yourself the book, educate yourself on some tools, get that pre-order in as soon as possible, get yourself my new book and learn about tools. Perfect Christmas present, isn't it? Come on. Imagine if nobody wants it now after that. God. And we'll see you tomorrow. Sunday's video is still happening. We're going to get that crane done. I'm going to get on it now.